All right, today we're going to be talking about lesson 38-1, scatter plots. This lesson will be chunked into 3 separate sections. On the very first slide of this presentation, you should have seen your learning targets that you should have been unpacked. The first one says, describe a linear relationship between two numerical variables in terms of direction and strength. Number 2, use the correlation coefficient to describe the strength and direction of a linear relationship between two numerical variables. Let's take a look at the paragraph preceding our first section. Scatter plots are used to visualize the relationship between two numerical variables. When you look at a scatter plot, determine whether there appears to be a relationship or pattern between the two variables. For example, consider the following 3 scatter plots. For scatter plot number 1, there does appear to be a relationship between x and y because greater values of x tend to be paired with greater values of y. Notice that the pattern in the plot looks roughly linear. So you would say that there is a linear relationship between the two variables. Two numerical variables are related if they tend to vary together in a predictable way. We're going to be working through questions number 1 and 2 for our first chunk of this lesson, 1 and 2. Question number 1 states, for scatter plot number 2 above, does there appear to be a relationship between x and y? If so, describe the pattern. So is there a pattern between x and y here? What do we notice? Yes, there is a pattern. The pattern is not linear, but what? The pattern's curved. You can clearly see this defined U shape here. Okay, let's take a look at number 2. For scatter plot number 3 above, does there appear to be a relationship between x and y? If so, describe the pattern. As we look at x, y in scatter plot number 3, can we determine that as x increases, y increases? Can we make a prediction that as x increases, y decreases? If you look at this plot, it doesn't seem like there's any kind of pattern whatsoever because the points are just plotted all over the place. There's no defined shape here. Like here, back in scatter plot 1, we have this defined linear shape. Here, we have a defined curved shape. Here, I have nothing. So, question number 2, we would say, no, there isn't really a pattern in this scatter plot. So, number 1, we said, yes, it's curved. And number 2, we said there isn't really a pattern in the scatter plot above. On to your debriefing question.